Hey, what's up, MULN investors and moneymakers? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to talk about MULN. You know that we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on this channel. In this particular video, I'll be covering whether you should be worried about MULN's bankruptcy because there's a growing concerns and we have been seeing a lot of FUD into the market. Whether MULN can get bankrupt, and as you can see, there is growing concerns into the stock price as well. We're down 10% on Friday. We went to $1.01 and finally we're closed at $1.07, which is a pretty low, the lowest price point that MULN was closed. Take a look at the 5-day chart. We saw $1.34 on 17th of May. From that price point, we are down 23%. We are down 24%. If you think about all in all, let's take a look at this chart from $1.34 to $1.01. We are looking at close to 24% down in terms of the price point. Now, without a further ado, I just want you to hit the like button so we can share this information with more and more people. This will help clearing out some of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, as at the same time it'll set clear expectations as to what you can expect from MULN next week. Because guess what? The short sellers are going to try as hard as possible. We are also looking for NASDAQ to announce the final confirmation or give the final confirmation to MULN that they have already met the $1 price bid minimum price rule requirement for 10 consecutive business days. So that is going to be a super extremely impactful week for MULN, and we want to talk about where MULN is heading at the moment. But MULN's 10Q reveals how close their bankruptcy might be, and we see this on Investor Place. And on the flip side, we are also seeing Buy MULN stock, 3 compelling reasons that MULN can make a comeback. Now, this is a penny stock. It is risk versus reward play, so do your own due diligence. At the end of the day, that's your choice, what you want to do. I'm here to share all this information, making sure that I share this information with you and you have it handy, and you want to make this channel part of your daily due diligence. You want to subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on notification bell. Now, let's talk about MULN's 10Q. MULN's creditors are getting nervous, and this is really important. And why they are getting nervous? Because we know that MULN revealed that they have more than $100 million at the moment. They're getting $45 million more in funding, but they're burning cash pretty hard. It is not hitting their bank account. The purchase orders are not hitting. The revenue is not hitting their bank account just yet. So MULN's creditors are getting nervous. The EV firm's latest filing shows why. Now let's get into it, because if you own MULN, if you're a shareholder, you really want to watch out for this. On Tuesday, Mullen Automotive released the long anticipated 10Q report, and I can show you the 10Q report we shared in my previous video as well. It was much watching like sort of a concerning situation. You know, the things will be bad, but it is hard to look away. In last 3 months, the electric vehicle startup produced zero revenue. Now, this is one of the things that is very concerning, and at least to me, because we see that left and right, MULN has announced that they are getting purchase agreement, but we are not seeing that hitting their balance sheet. Now, there could be a possibility that it is backdated and MULN did not really get the bank checks just yet, and the money did not really hit the bank account. But this is a concerning scenario. We really want to see the revenue on their balance sheet. Now, burned through $67.5 million in operating cash, diluted shareholders by another 60%, and shares would fall 5%. As MULN continues to exhaust its financial options, its latest 10Q report hints at how close to bankruptcy the electric vehicle startup has gotten. And I'm going to be pretty much in line with what this article talks about. And if you take a look at the share price, right, $1.01 low. Now think about it. The stock was $1.62 before that, $2.25 on May 3rd. It not just got 50% slash, it's not cut in half, more than a half when you think about $1.01. Yes, their volume is looking pretty high, but at the same time, you see that their short volume is pretty high as well. Guess that's why the short sellers are super pumped. They are super confident because they believe that this company can get bankrupt. And we need to understand what it actually means in terms of the balance sheet, in terms of the number, in terms of the technical abilities as to what Mullen can do in next upcoming months and quarters. As Mullen continues to exhaust its financial options, its latest 10Q hints how close to bankruptcy this particular EV vehicle company is. The Rocky Picture Show in December 2022, Mullen's auditor gave a growing concern, and this is December 2022. So we are 5 months in 2023. A label reserved for the firm that could soon fail. Study shows that roughly 17% of first-time concerned receivers go bankrupt within a year. Now, there are so many companies that they came out of all this, and we know that Tesla was in trouble at one point, and many other EV vehicle companies, especially when they're trying to change the game, when they're trying to innovate, that stuff happens. Now, so that's why you want to make your own choice. If you believe in Lawrence, if you believe in Saudi deal, you want to bet on Mullen. You don't want to invest, personally me, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am a certified professional, so at the end of the day, you do your own due diligence. That's your savings, your money, your trade. But what I do personally is I do not really invest more than 5 to 7% of my own money in my portfolio into penny stock, into risk versus reward, like high risky play, and you can double, triple, quadruple. But if things don't go right, what happens is you lose 50, 60, 70% just in matter of days. And I don't usually like to wake up at night worrying about money. And many times, often, if you follow me, I write for free, which means I don't really have my own money into the game. It's mostly the profit that I just get from the stock, the same stock for the most time, making it a better deal for me. Now, take a look. So what they're saying is roughly 17% of the first-time company that received this concern go bankrupt within a year, making it one of the best predictor of the corporate failure. Mullen's second quarter results confirmed suspicions. Despite of having 60.3 million in available cash and another 45 million due to July, Mullen's cash position is surprisingly weak. The cash burn. Number one is cash burn. Mullen consumed $71.8 million whopping dollars in free cash flow in last 6 months, driven by $47.4 million in overheads, $20.5 million in R&D, which is research and development costs, and the firm also spent $92.9 million on its electric last mile solution purchase, adding strain into cash position. So they are pretty much like burning cash left and right. Now, no pre-order cash flow. So when the company is running on a full speed, what they do many times to have less burden on their cash flow is they go pre-order, which is not the case for Mullen. So there is no pre-order cash flow. The 10Q revealed that the firm generated no pre-sales revenue deposit. I know I sound a little bit bearish at the moment, but I'll talk in a minute about what are the pros as well. Right now we're talking about concerns, and as I told you, we talk about good, bad, and ugly. I'm pro Mullen, so don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if you want to do a neutral due diligence, if you want to do a neutral analysis, you want to be extra cautious as well, especially when the company is in the phase where Mullen is. And it could be it could hit a home run, don't get me wrong, but you need to understand all angles when you invest into stock like Mullen. Now, Mullen 10Q, again, the revenue deposit could be within next quarter. That suggests that no customers have yet signed up for the reserve on the Mullen 5 crossover, which requires refundable $100 deposit. Tesla's 2010 annual summit annual report illustrates how this figure could ordinarily counted if they already exist. Now, remember, here is what you want to understand. Deferred revenue, 4.6 mil. Capital lease obligations, 279,000. Reserve capital payment, 30.7 million. Most EV startups shows a significant deferred revenue and reservation payment, which means that they did not really hit their bank account, but they likely will hit. Right? Tesla recorded 35.3 million this payments a year leading up to Tesla S model launch. What it shows is the confidence in the vehicle that they have already built, which means they did not receive the cash cash, but they will do that soon. Now, again, reliance on debt filing. Now, you can find out the SEC filing I covered in my previous video as well. You can watch out for this Investor Place article as well. MULN's filing highlighted the impact of 150 million notes it issued in November 2022. That Series D preferred stock. We have been talking about that because EV firm has insufficient authorized shares to allow the complete conversion. It was forced to recognize the derivatives liability of 244 million and issue 8.8 million shares as compensation. Future fundraising through the notes issuance now comes with the far worse terms. Now, significant debt to equity conversion. The filing also revealed the extent of creditor cash out in Q2. 20.7 million to 263.1 million shareholder equity rose because the MULN's investor began exercising warrants and started selling the stock. We saw the pressure into the price point, and we saw how MULN suffered in last 1 month. Take a look, 55.42% down. 6 months, 81.20% down. Year to date, we are down 87%, give or take. In last 1 year, we are down 95.92%, which is massive, right? So it's super concerning. I get it. Now, there is a sign that even MULN's top backers are starting to worry about its longer term solvency. This suggests that MULN could run out of cash sooner than most investors believe. Consider this cash requirement, and this is concerning all in all. How close MULN is to file the bankruptcy, we already talked about it. They have $45 million more in funding. They secured the fund. On the flip side, on the good side, Buy MULN, 3 compelling reasons. If things work out, if there is a comeback, it is going to be super fast, because if you think about the pre-split stock, right, it's below about 4 to 5 cents, between 4 and 5 cents right now with the current price point, give or take, because you want to divide this by 24 or 25 rather. So $1 divided by 25 is 4 cents. Now we went to $1.01. So we are close to 4 cents if you want to think about what was that in terms of the before the reverse stock split kind of a thing, right? So can it go back from 4 cents to 8 or 12 cents? Yes, if things work out, if they start showing the revenue, that could happen in matter of days, if not weeks, right? Now, MULN is demonstrating the progress in servicing major clients. Now, the one thing that they have right now is the Randy Marion tie-up, and that's their biggest distributors and biggest area where they can get the cash flow. And Randy Marion, it's a pretty reputed name in terms of the distribution, so on and so forth. So we believe that MULN 5, and they have vehicles, by the way. MULN is getting up with more and more surprises in terms of that they're getting the production ready, they're getting vehicles, they're getting UNC 15 vehicles, they're getting so on and so forth, basically purchase order agreements, but we're not seeing cash. That's the crux of the matter. MULN Automotive has a shrinking net earning loss and improving the capital position as well. Investors should give MULN a try with a smaller share position. Again, in line with what Investor Place is telling here in this particular bullet, because you don't really want to invest too much money. You don't want to be feeling FOMO, fear of missing out, if it starts spiking through the roof. So, in my opinion, tiny bit of investment and see what's happening with overall stock price, because I have to say that the short sellers are not backing out. They are playing extremely strong and they are pushing hard to make their thing work, because we know that they have announced, by the way, MULN announced that, by the way, on Friday, MULN stock was added to the short sell restriction list. I covered in my previous videos. I'm not going to cover this once again. However, MULN reported that the stock has met the $1 minimum bid price requirement. So now we have been trading about $1 for 10 consecutive days. But my fear is if the short sellers are going super hard, we can quickly go below the $1 mark. And we saw that $1.01. Write down in the comment section below if you believe that we want to stay about $1. Are we going to stay $1? About $1? Write down $1 in the comment section below, because if this happens, now it is slightly concerning when the volume goes up. Most volume that I see that the short volume goes up pretty rapidly as well. So it's not like people are buying and they're holding. Maybe there are some swing traders who are swinging at buying at $1.01 and selling probably at $1.07, but it's pretty hard to predict the market. So I'm not going to say that all the swing traders players are making money. But there is no secret that the automotive has to deal to intense competition with EV space, especially when it comes to bigger box companies like Tesla and BMWs and any other company who is in the EV space, because they already have the market share, they have already the marketplace, they have the customers that they believe in, that retail customers rather, that they believe in the company, believe in the model, believe in the brand a lot more. Therefore, I'm not going to judge, again, this I agree with that, let's not judge MULN too harshly considering the circumstances. I would actually say MULN is demonstrating surprisingly resilience. With that in mind, let's take a look at the 3 reasons, and I agree that number 1, they're providing encouraging operational updates, which means, and we saw that in July they're starting this commercial vehicle production. Bottom line, improvement that bodes well for MULN stock, yes, and then there is a ton more in terms of the more updates in terms of the revenue. They have so far received 279 million purchase orders. That does not necessarily mean that they have gotten the cash, they have gotten the orders, they have gotten the confirmation that this amount, $279 million, will hit their bank account, which is what slightly is concerning, because all purchase orders do not translate in cash and translate in the revenue for the company. So this is the update that I wanted to give you. Next week, tomorrow, and the rest of the next week is going to be crucial. We want to see that NASDAQ comes out and says that MULN is in compliance in trading for NASDAQ, because number 1 thing that we want to focus on right now is we want to be able to keep trading on NASDAQ for many more months in perpetuity, ideally. But we don't want to get out of NASDAQ. If there is a fear of getting out of NASDAQ, you know what happens next. Next is going to be another reverse stock split. So I just wanted to share this information. If you do find it valuable, do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. I'll get more updates for you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.